Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our live YouTube broadcast. It's been a little while since we last visited and shared some news. Uh, Hopefully, everyone is healthy and enjoying the summer. Just a big congratulations to everyone that's listening, regardless of what your role in the finish of our school year was. If you were a parent, a student, a teacher, paraprofessional, board member, administration, secretary, everybody, all of our great employees. We had a strong finish to the school year. We received a lot of accolades on how we worked together through that time, and just couldn't be more proud of everyone. So we have quite a bit of information today to share. We're going to try to share as much as we can, but we also want you to know that there's still a lot of questions that will remain for us also, and we're planning. We've been working nonstop as an administrative team throughout this whole thing. That we've moved, obviously, just like all of us have, through the COVID closure process to creation of summer school to now. Today we'll share a lot about possible work and plans that is going on regarding the fall and what the reopening of school may look like. So to get started, I just want to share one of the guiding documents. I'll share my screen here. One of the guiding documents that we use that I would try to convince everyone to at least get on there and take a look at is the Launch Nebraska documentation from Nebraska Department of Education. There is all kinds of guidance there. Dr. Tracy Heilman, who is on the screen today, she's our Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment. She is leading us in this process because most of it involves curriculum and what that relearning is going to look like when we open back up, and then also what's going on this summer. So there are webinars that we have urged our administration to watch. I would also suggest that our teachers get on there and watch the webinars as well. And I know many of you have already, especially in your PLC work. So that's an overall guiding document and work that is being shared statewide that we are also involved in. And so much of our planning has started with and will end with the Launch Nebraska documentation. Another piece that we are definitely using is our governance committee planning. The governance committee is basically the people you see on the screen today, our cabinet, and then we have an administrative representative, as you can see from at the top, from each one of our from the elementary, from the middle school, and from the high school. But we've been meeting, as you can see, since May, and we have regular meetings. We have an agenda. Underneath the governance committee are several subcommittees, and that's where the real meat of the work has been done. I know I fielded a few questions lately from community members, parents, school board members, students, staff about what the fall might look like. And so that's our intent today, is to share a little bit of the work that's going on. Not that it's going to provide a crystal clear picture of what this fall may look like, but what we're planning for. I think to not have a plan is not very wise. We are definitely working hard to plan for a few different scenarios and taking our best guess with data and with information from state and nationwide experts what that may look like. So we're planning for those different scenarios. So as you can see, the governance committee, like I just shared, is the overall supervising committee. And so all the subcommittees report back. That it's chaired by myself, and the cabinet's heavily involved there. We created our vision. We keep everybody organized. We try to get input of the work, and then make sure there is no gaps in the work, but also not a lot of duplication. So that's the purpose of the governance committee. Becky Eckhart, who's also on the screen, is chairing a few different committees, but wellness, mental health, and safety. And you see the members there on the screen. And they have been meeting several times. We feel we're in a good place with our plans for wellness, mental health, and safety, regardless of the scenarios that we are going to share a little bit later in this broadcast. The same with instruction and post-secondary transition. That is chaired by Tracy, and we have several members of that committee that have been working hard. As you can see there, linked is that Launch Nebraska webinar series that I just talked about. So if you want to see what instruction, suggestions, and guidance we are getting from the state level, I definitely urge you as educators, as parents, and as students too, if you want to look at that Launch Nebraska website, that would be the guiding documents we are studying. Facilities, obviously, Doyle, who is on the screen, is chairing the facilities committee. We have confidence that we have been cleaning, disinfecting. We are ready for any scenario with that committee and what needs to happen there. School operations, same thing. The chairs there are Tracy and Becky, but that involves several members of our administration. It also involves obviously our lunch coordinators and transportation people like Dan and Mike. Technology obviously is a huge piece. We had a little bit of a trial run with our COVID closure technology, of course, delivery. And so in the different scenarios, the use of technology would definitely be a piece, but it looks very different in each scenario as we will share. One of our partners that we have partnered with, we are honored and we appreciate their involvement, but NDE did reach out to us as a school that they would want to work with to develop a prototype for what reopening looks like this fall. So first of all, that's a tribute to all of the employees of South Sioux Schools, the students, that NDE would recognize us as someone that could blaze a trail for the rest of the state and create a model that the rest of the state could emulate. In that work, there's a national partner called Instruction Partners, and we've met with them a few times. A very talented group of people led by a dynamic CEO, Emily, and we'll be meeting with her at 9:30 again today, soon after this broadcast. But some of the work we've done we'll share with you right now, but we are definitely doing the legwork first and setting the foundation for the planning so that it's very deliberate and the scenarios will be founded on facts and data and nationwide as well as statewide. And then obviously most important are local needs. But a couple things. This year was a challenging year. We know next year it may be our hardest year in education, and we're hearing that nationwide. We're hearing that from the countries that are opening up ahead of us. We also know the stakes are very high. We know that disrupted schooling has had an impact. We know that schools are places of community spread for communicable diseases. We have to be cognizant of that. We know that distance learning, even though we were more effective than many of the schools in the state, maybe the most effective school in the state of Nebraska. And we're hearing from the national partners that we're working with that we have had probably some of the most impressive results as far as student engagement and completion among schools across the nation even. So that's something to be proud of, but also we know it wasn't a home run. I mean, we have some kids that maybe fell behind or maintain learning in different ways than others. So what we are doing right now, we are in this first sequence of planning. We have created a vision, which I'll share here in a bit. We have identified priorities. We are working on this, defining our 3 scenarios. And then we will be working on our parameters. And Lance will talk in a little bit. We have some surveys coming out to families and staff. So we expect to be done with this soon, like by next week. and be moving into the next step where we're planning for each scenario, and how we're going to make that work. So with the next slide, just want to share what our vision is. We definitely want to guide and equip our staff, students, and parents with resources, knowledge, and skills related to the unfinished learning, instructional equity, health measures, and remote in-person instructional strategies as we prepare to educate our students. We want to ensure the following. Now, these are all created through help with our national partners and NDE partners, but these are things that we felt were vital to us as South Sioux City Community Schools. We want to ensure the following. We want to make sure our families are satisfied with the reopening. We want our staff to feel supported. We want our staff and students to feel safe and emotionally supported. We want to make sure we have trauma-informed, resilient classrooms and schools. And we know what students have learned and still need to learn when we reopen. Students are engaged in their learning, and the students who need the most are prioritized. Students are engaged and excited to come to school. And I think a lot of them just are right now because it's been a while. Students, families, and staff feel a strong sense of school community, regardless of classroom or school assignment. And I can feel that has increased, but we definitely want to increase it more. We understand there's relationships all across our district that need to be rekindled and strengthened. And I think we'll come back stronger than ever as a school community. And then how we'll operate. We're going to keep improving. We'll do our best. There's a lot of questions out there. Like I said, and as we know better, we will do better. We'll take care of ourselves, each other, and stay united as a team. And that is difficult. I can speak just from personal experience, since this time and with the people on our screen. We are a strong team, but there's also been some challenges along the way because it's hard work, it's exhaustive work, and there just hasn't been a break. So we're trying to create some time to take care of ourselves and stay united. We will also make decisions based on facts and communicate that with transparency. And I hope you trust that. We haven't had one of these for a while, and that's because there's been much work going on behind the scenes, but not a lot of information to share. So today's our first attempt at that. We'll lead in a manner to eliminate fear and anxiety, and we're definitely going to prioritize equity. We'll maintain high expectation in all areas while focusing on the learning gaps. We also identified our priorities. Like I said, our partners, NDE and our national partner, worked with us facilitating this activity. And you see the votes here from the administrators that are involved in the governance committee. And our 4 priorities are highlighted, and then the number of votes by priority are represented there. It was a great activity. It was well done, well thought out. And so we are going to prioritize and develop our vision and our work around a few groups. I mean, we're not going to let anybody fall through the cracks, but we definitely need to concentrate on our preschool through 2nd grade students, our English learners, our students with disabilities, and the students who live in poverty. And so that's the information we have right now. And like I said before, we are in this first sequence, but things will move quickly. NDE and the national partners that we're working with hope to have this work done within the next few weeks. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mrs. Eckhart. Becky will, excuse me, I'm skipping ahead on our Lance. I talked about some surveys, so Lance will talk about the surveys and how they're going to be delivered and what they contain. So turn it over to you, Lance. And if I missed anything, those that are on the screen, please jump in.
Sounds good. Thanks, Todd. I think you're still presenting, so you might have to exit that mode there.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
But I don't really need to display anything, but I did want to just make sure and update everybody. We're going to send out later today an email to the staff with some links to a survey, and we really need everybody's participation. We're going to keep it as short as possible and not make it real complicated. It's just some yes or no questions and an opportunity to fill in some short answer. And it shouldn't take but more than a few minutes or a couple minutes, just 1 or 2 minutes just to fill it out real quick and hit send and get it back to us, because we really need to have some general information as far as our planning goes. And that goes for the students as well. We're going to be sending out, it's actually for families, we're going to send out the email with that, and that'll go out a couple different ways for parents to take that survey. So that will help us kind of formulate some of our planning. So most of the schools in Nebraska are doing kind of the same thing. And rest assured, the information will not be shared publicly or with any other schools or anything like that. So it's important you take that survey. Thank you.
Thanks, Lance. Yeah, very, very important. So spread the word to colleagues. We need everybody's input on those surveys to make an accurate judgment. All right, next we have Becky and Mike Wright. So I'll turn it over to Becky.
Thank you, Mr. Strom. Mike and I, and as well as coaches and the high school principals, have been working so that we can open some of our facilities as early as next week for our athletes. So Mike will walk you through the details, but want to know it was a large team working very collaboratively over the last month to make sure when our students return, we keep them as safe as we can. Mike, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to let you know we're very excited to get the opportunity to work with your son or daughter. It's been a while, but myself and the other coaches are really excited. Like Becky said, I want to reiterate that your son or daughter's safety and wellness is our #1 priority. I think we have a pretty good plan in place, and they'll see that when they come through next week. A couple things I want you to be aware of. The card powerlifting part is going to start Monday, and it's going to be on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Football is going to keep a little different schedule, but they are starting Monday too. What I'd recommend to all the students and parents out there is make sure you contact your head coach. If you haven't been in touch with them, they can sign you up for a lifting time. We're limiting our groups when we start to 10 students per group. If you can't get a hold of your coach, make sure and give me a jingle through Twitter or email, and I can get you signed up also. Another key component after you get signed up is we need all our student athletes and their parents to sign the waiver. If the waiver is not filled out, we're not going to be able to let you come in and lift Monday. That waiver has been emailed in an electronic link through both your team builder accounts, and it's on Twitter, but I can email it to you too if you haven't got it. Also, just a couple other things. All students and coaches are going to be required to wear a mask next week, at least with the weightlifting part of things. If you don't have a mask, don't let that stop you from showing up. We'll have masks for you. Cleaning is going to take place after every session, meaning if a group of students is in the weight room for 30 minutes, it will be cleaned and disinfected prior to the next group coming in. Social distancing is going to be encouraged at all times. And I will kind of send out some tips and reminders for the students, since it'll be new to them on Monday, that this is what we want to try to do. And they're adaptable. They'll get it real fast. I think the other thing I wanted to reiterate to our parents and our students, that if you're not comfortable coming into the weight room as of yet, just let us know. You know, it's not a mandatory thing. Obviously, we encourage everybody to get back in and get going, but we also can continue with the virtual workouts that we've been doing in the fourth quarter and also this summer. So, you know, one way or the other, we want to get your students involved, get them ready for their activities in the fall. And again, we're looking forward to seeing everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike and Becky. Thank you to all the coaches. I know the kids are excited to get back too. So good luck. Go get them. Lance, got some news here from the registration event?
Yeah, yes, sir. We have canceled the registration event as of right now, and that certainly the things could be way more opened up by them. I think we expect that. But as far as the planning and then just bringing everybody back together that much earlier than school starts just doesn't make a lot of sense. So there's other ways we can get that information and do that this year. So for this year, we have made the decision to actually cancel the registration event, and we'll find out other ways to get that information from our families, and we'll be sharing that over the next few weeks.
Thanks, Lance. Our great staff has not stopped working during this time, and Becky's going to share a little bit about what's going on as far as professional development with our summer.
Thank you. We have 3 1-credit opportunities that are all optional for our staff. These are open to 100% of our staff, certified or classified. The trauma-informed schools, I know many of you have seen the emails we've sent out all the way from back in April, but it's not too late to sign up. We have 205 staff that are signed up or have already completed that. We also added a couple weeks ago a math professional learning opportunity through the National Math webinar series that they have going on. And we will send that link out again. And then the last thing, this is a new opportunity we haven't yet sent out, but we'll be doing that later today. The Launch Nebraska webinars that Mr. Strom has mentioned a couple times on this YouTube call, we turn that into a 1 graduate credit opportunity. So if you watch the 10 webinars and do a couple other things related to that, you can get 1 graduate credit if you're interested in that. Again, all of these are optional and open to all of our staff. We just wanted to find a way to continue to promote the professional learning and specifically the trauma-informed schools in Launch Nebraska. We feel very strongly that will help us be better prepared to serve students with our reopening. So if your time allows, please consider those opportunities. Thank you.
Thanks, Becky. I just want to personally endorse the trauma-informed training. I'll admit I was a little resistant to jumping on there because it was 6 hours of training. It looked like a lot, and I actually completed it last weekend. It was like a good book. You couldn't put it down. You might think you know and are experienced with trauma-informed practices and strategies, but I'm telling you, just from a personal standpoint, I learned much through that webinar. It was interesting, and it's definitely some practices that I'll use not only in my professional life but in my personal life. So highly recommended. It's as close to mandating endorsement as I can get. It's definitely worth your personal investment. Moving on, Lance has a few announcements from the communications department, so I'll turn it over to Lance.
Thank you very much. Just real quick here, the Beyond the Bell registration form, I'm going to be putting that on the website here in just a little bit, and I'll include it in an email out to everybody as well. But if you're previously enrolled families, we'll be able to get started with that on July 13th. And for new families, that'll start July 20th. But the form is still going to be on the website, the registration form, and I'll put that out there. Yesterday or last night, there was a message sent out to the middle school students. They need to check their email for instructions on selecting exploratory courses. So if you're in middle school or going into middle school, so going into 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, they need to check their email for some choices on their classwork. I just want to thank real quick the tech department. Earlier this week, they handed out or did a swap with 7th kids going into the 7th and 10th grades. They handed out new Chromebooks to them, and then the students turned in their old one. And that's really important to do that right now so that the tech team can start getting those ready for the summer. And I just wanted to thank Drew and his staff and all the folks and the parents and everybody else that helped make that happen. And if you still have one, you can certainly contact the help desk and get that. They can make arrangements to get that swapped out for you so that we're not worrying about that, and our tech team can get those ready for the younger kids to use. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Drew to talk about some Windows antivirus updates.
Thanks, Lance. Yeah, the help desk has been working hard on updating staff Windows devices. So far, we've done 110 updates. I know there's some more to go. So staff, if you still have a Windows laptop at home, please bring it into the help desk. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 3. So if you could drop that off, that would be great.
All right, and Lance, we're getting some questions about graduation. We are still planned for graduation on July 26th. Things have been changing in the landscape as far as the directive health measures, and I think it's beginning to look like more of a reality, and so we are still planning on that day. And what that looks like is to be determined, but I'm confident we can have some type of graduation ceremony.
Yes, thanks for that reminder. We still haven't changed a thing. We're still planning for July 26th, and I'm very excited about that. We might have to do a couple things differently according to what the other schools across Nebraska are telling me, as far as with choirs and bands and stuff playing. That might be a challenge, but hopefully by then that won't be, so we don't know yet.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, I'd like to introduce Erin Heineman. She's with us to talk about all the great work that's been going on with meals. And just congratulations and thanks to everyone that's been helping with that. We've had several individuals pitching in to help deliver meals to our community members and students. So Erin, it's all yours for an update.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. The district, in partnership with Lunchtime Solutions, has continued to serve free meals to youth in our community, age 18 and under, during the summer. As we started that process when buildings closed in March. So for our students and families listening, today is actually a day to come get meals. You can come to Covington Elementary between 10:30 and 1:30 and pick up meals. And like I said, those are free to any youth in the community age 18 and under. The next pickup day will be Tuesday. So we're doing Tuesdays and Fridays during the month of June. Same time, also at Covington. And then look to our website next week and social media channels. We're going to be putting information out on July meals. So we'll continue to provide meals in the month of July as well.
All right, thank you, Erin. And once again, thank you to all our great volunteers. As you know, we have sold our existing Welcome Center. We are leasing part of the public library. The north side of the public library will be our new Welcome Center. So it's getting renovated. There will be new branding facing the Dakota Avenue. It'll be really sharp, and we're excited about that move. And it will be happening here soon. End of June or early July. Do we have anything more to share there, Lance?
I do want to take this opportunity. It's everybody's responsibility, and we need everybody's help to, if you know families with kindergarten, preschool age children, remind them to make sure that they're registered with us at our Welcome Center. It's really super important. It's everybody that needs to help do that, so that I think a lot of times they wait until August and it gets so busy and so rushed, and we won't have the registration event as normal. So if everybody can help out, if they're kind of wondering like, am I registered or not, it's worth just calling there and we can help them and make sure they are registered. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything of urgency pop up on the chat lines, Lance?
Not that I've seen, but I haven't been monitoring as faithfully today. I've been kind of scrambling here. So,
all right.
If people do have questions, certainly give us an email or fill out a Let's Talk, and we'll get it answered the best we can.
All right. Well, like I mentioned before, we have a planning session set for 9:30. I want to end by just thanking everyone and wishing, especially those that are retiring or either leaving our district for another position. Just want to wish you the best, that you and your families the best. There's some great people that are departing. Some of you are entering into the wonderful world of retirement, so well deserved. Enjoy. Some of you are entering into some other positions where you professionally advance, and congratulations and good luck. You always have a home and support back here at South Sioux. Please reach out to us and come back and visit. But to everyone else, have a great Friday, fantastic weekend. Happy Father's Day to those of you that are in that role, and take care. Go Cards.